Welcome back to the Designed to Profit Stories Summer Series. If you have ever been in a place where you have been dealing with something called a midlife crisis, or you've been feeling like, my God, I've been doing my whole life, I've been taking care of everybody else, and I've been doing the things, just going through my life the way that I go through life, but I feel like there's something different. Something is calling me, something is pulling me, and I don't necessarily know what it is. Then you are going to love my next guest. Suzanne Arjona is a 6'2" emotional manifesting generator, and she is a coach for women at midlife. She really helps her people to live life on their own terms. And today, Suzanne is going to talk to us about her Substack. She's going to talk to us about how she made the decision to go from group coaching back to one-on-one because it's what lights her up. She speaks to the 4 books that she has authored and so much more. Suzanne truly is building her life on her own terms, and I want you to hear all about it. Welcome, Suzanne. Thank you for being here today. I know you've got a lot on the go in your life right now.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. I appreciate it.
Nobody really needs anything from you for the next few minutes anyway, I guess.
No, we're good.
Yeah. So let's start with your human design. Talk to me a little bit about your human design.
I am a 6'2" emotional manifesting generator, which means I feel like I always have so much going on in my life. As manifesting generator, it's kind of one thing after another. And then throw that second line in there, and I'm like, okay, I'm done now. I need to hibernate for a little bit, which the universe doesn't always agree with, but the joys of manifesting generator.
So right now you are in this intense period in your life that we're not going to talk about, but you seem like you're kind of draining, as that second line would drain. I know that feeling well. Do you have a plan built into your life for like, when can I drop after this?
I do. I actually, every week I kind of have scheduled downtime, 1 or 2 days where no appointments, no nothing. If stuff comes up, great, but it's the same reminder that I give to my clients, I have to give myself, where it's like, you can choose you.
Yes.
And that's okay. You can say no, and that's okay. And so, so I've got some time planned out right now. A couple of weeks ago, I actually had a week away where we got to go away, not at the house. We were in a hotel. It was beautiful. No phones, no computers, nothing.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. And that is something that I have to remind myself to do every so often.
But I feel like a second line. So what we're talking about right now for listeners is your profile in human design. So I am a 2-4 profile. So the 2 is conscious for me, and Suzanne is a 6-2 profile. So the 2 is unconscious for her. But that 2 line, we're called the hermits. And I feel like if we don't take that time to hermit away, especially after a busy period in our lives, like a launch period or something like that in our business, or in our life, then somehow the universe will drop something in our path that's like, you have to stop now, or our body will just literally stop. Prevailing thought, I guess, is that manifesting generators just go and go and go and go and go and go and go. And we do, but with that second line, it's a little bit of a nuance where there's times where we just can't keep going.
Right. We go and go and go, and then the direction changes, and we go and go and go some more, and then the direction changes. And if we're not paying attention to that second line and we're not allowing that downtime, then, like you said, it was a few months ago, I think I had a sprained ankle and was laid up for 4 days and I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
So the universe will make sure that you get that downtime.
Yeah. So what brought you to human design? Did you have like one massive experience like some people have, or was it, you did? Okay. Can you talk about that?
I did. I wouldn't say it was massive, but there was a very small group of women that I had just started meeting with. The gal running this little program, we would just meet at a coffee shop once every other week, and just to talk about business. And she and one of the other gals used to talk about this human design stuff. And I thought, that's really interesting. She's like, I've got some feelings about you. And she was very intuitive anyway. She is very intuitive. And so she ran my chart, and she's like, oh yeah, manifesting generator. And some of the things, she just kind of went boom, boom, boom down a couple of line items, I guess you could say. And it all just clicked. I'm like, that I mean, I've been through a million different programs. That makes a lot of sense. That fits. And so then I just kind of started investigating on my own and then went through some formal training, and here I am. But yeah, it was literally just one day over coffee. A woman ran my chart and pointed out a few things, and I'm like, I need this. I need to know more about this.
It's always interesting to me when people have those experiences where they recognize themselves right away. It must have been the way that I came to it, but I did not have that experience. Like everything just seemed weird to me. It kept coming for me, like probably for over the course of 3 years, I kept being reinitiated into it. And then finally I was like, okay, now I get it. Yeah. I wish I had one of those experiences like so many people seem to have with it. So now you run a human design business.
Yes.
What do you do? Who do you serve? All the things. Tell us everything.
Tell us everything. I've actually been a coach for over 20 years. And so now over the past 4 or 5 years or so, I've started implementing human design as another tool that I use to help my clients. So I do just, regular human design readings as well. People who are curious, especially beginners. I tend to attract a lot of people who are new to human design. And we could just kind of, talk about what it is and what their chart means and what it's useful for. A big thing for me is, how do you apply it to your life? It's a pretty chart. There's all these great little things about it. It's kind of cool to look at, but what does it mean? How do you apply that? And that's where a lot of my coaching focus is, great, you're a manifesting generator, great, you're a 6-2 profile. What does that mean for you every day of your life? How do you work with that? And how do you make your life better with that? So, and more specifically, I guess I tend to attract a lot of women like myself who are in midlife. And so we've kind of gone through this whole period of our lives, not really, just kind of living, kind of, moving along. And then they discover human design and it's like, oh, I can do things differently. I can live my life differently. And they're already getting that itch anyways. When you start to hit your 40s and 50s and it's like, something needs to change, something needs to move, but I don't know what it is. And we can use human design to kind of work through and unravel all of that.
I'm sure that every single person listening can relate to that when you hit your 40s and your 50s. And it's just like, and I feel like right now too, we're at such a different time on the planet. There's never been a time like this. And I guess every generation could say that, but so many times the people that I'm working with are coming in going like, what is actually happening right now? The whole world seems like it's lost its way or something. So human design can be such a beautiful tool. But if you're going through a personal transition, like in your 40s and 50s, and then the world feels like it's collapsing around you, people need people like you in their life for sure. You also have written books. You're an author?
Yes.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah.
What are your books about?
So my first book, Finding Balance, Finding Truth, that was my own personal journey. It wasn't originally designed. It didn't start off to be a book. It was a 25-step program that I built for my coaching clients, but it was also myself walking through, how do I create a life that I want to live? And these 25 steps kind of walk you through the whole process of, well, if you need to add anything to your life, first you need to remove stuff from your life. And so we go through this 25-step process of, rearranging everything, setting your priorities, and creating the life that you really love. That kind of led into the second book, which was Declutter for Life. And more than just, I had moved a bunch of times in that time period. And so decluttering was a big thing for me. My mom had hit an age where she was clearing everything out and trying to pass it on to me. And I'm like, no. I need to get rid of this stuff as well. And so declutter your life is more than just decluttering the physical stuff in your space, but also the emotional clutter, the energetic clutter. And it kind of goes really deep into, there are times in your life where you may need to remove people from your life, and remove their energy as well. So it kind of goes through the whole gamut of really decluttering everything that's holding you back in your life. The third book was a mindfulness journal. And again, all of these kind of came about through my own journey and me knowing that I needed to constantly remind myself to be present, be here right now, deal with what's here today. And so I wrote this mindfulness journal and I did an accompanying card deck to go with it, where you can just take the individual prompts in whatever order you want and just sit with them for a day, for a week, whatever. And then that brings us to the fourth book, which is not published yet. I'm about a quarter of the way through it. It's fully outlined. I need to write it. And this is the working title right now is The Unraveling. And it's about navigating the midlife shifts using human design.
Beautiful.
So kind of taking the whole journey that I've gone through and now what I'm doing in my business and bringing that into book form.
I'm always envious of you as well with your book writing process, because I remember you showed up on one of the calls and you're like, well, my book is coming through me. I'm like, oh man, because mine feels like, I don't know what it feels like. It feels like the labor is being induced instead of me going through a natural process is what it feels like.
I remember that day. And the funny part is that that book that came through me is not the book I'm working on right now.
Of course. Of course.
That got pushed aside and the other one came through and it's like, okay, this is where I need to go. I may go back to that other one at some point.
Yeah, maybe not.
Maybe not.
Yeah, how very manifesting generator of you.
Yes.
Yeah. And we'll link up in the show notes for you to get Suzanne's books as well when we're finished the interview. So can you talk with me about the sacral response? I just always love to have generator types talk about the sacral response. So Suzanne is a manifesting generator, which is a generator type in human design. And you probably find this with your clients too, that even people who are familiar with human design have a really hard time getting in touch with their sacral. Was that true for you? Did you have a hard time understanding your sacral?
I didn't have a hard time getting in touch with my sacral. I'll get the hits. I'll be like, yes. What I do though is I have that emotional authority. And so I will jump right on things. It's like, yes, this is what it's going to be. And before, regardless of my emotions, having a great day, things are going on, something comes up on my computer screen. It's like, yes, that's the program. I need to go do that. And I will jump right into it. And usually it's okay. But there have been those times where it's like, okay, had I ridden out my emotional wave and sat with it a little bit, it'd be like, okay, yes, that's great, but not right now. That's usually where it's like, okay, now isn't the right time for that because I'm already doing 6 different things. So yeah, recognizing the sacral response and knowing when it's, yes, that's for me or no, that's not for me. I'm pretty much okay with that. It's the emotional side of it and, kind of writing it out and realizing, okay, now may not be the right time for that. Let's do, maybe we'll do that in 6 months. But it's like, nope, I got to jump in right now.
Yeah, I feel your pain on that one because same. So can you talk us through the 59.6 wave? So Suzanne has channel 59.6 defined from her sacral to her emotional solar plexus. So human design language, that is her emotional wave. And the 59.6, it's the source wave. So it behaves very differently than the other waves. I find, I don't have this wave, so I don't know this is, but with clients, I find that it's less wavy than the other waves. It's a little more even keeled. What's your experience?
It is. And I think that's probably why I have a hard time sometimes picking up on it. I don't get like the high highs and the low lows. It's kind of like everything is just a little wave. And yeah, I'm a little, things are going great here. Things are a little down there. And so it's a little hard to detect. So when I get that gut feeling of, yes, I need to do this, or yes, this is what we're doing right now, or where we're going, kind of discerning whether is my emotional wave up? Is it down? Am I good? Am I even? Everything's, it's not as defined. I wish I had like the high highs and the lows.
Don't wish that on yourself.
Like, you don't know what you're wishing for, but if it were more defined, I feel like it might be easier. We always think, everybody else has it better off. The grass is always greener, but I feel like it's it's a constant up and down. It's not like I'll be up for a few weeks and then down for a few weeks. It's just like an everyday, like you said, a little more subtle. It's just, I don't know how you describe it.
Yeah, well, it's not like mine is that high highs and low lows, and oh, yeah, there's no mistaking when it's a wave, either up or down. There's no mistaking it, no wondering if it's a wave. So, what's your advice when you're working with people who have a sacral defined and emotional solar plexus? How do you guide them to make decisions that way?
A lot of it is just, feel, feel in your
Mhm.
body. Okay. Yes, you're feeling that yes, or you're feeling that no, and that's going to be very strong, but just give yourself a little time. Even if it's just breathe for 5 minutes, is it still there? If it's a big decision, sleep on it. Wait a week if you have a week. I mean, sometimes we're presented with these things that it's like, act now, you have 24 hours, and you're like, what do I do?
Yeah.
And because I feel like I need to do this, but I'm emotional authority and I need to
Mhm.
ride my wave. And it's like, well, I don't know where I am in my wave. So
Yeah.
a lot of it is just kind of get back into your body, try to turn the mind off, and just feel. Because even with the sacral response, with the emotional authority, I feel like there's always kind of that overlay of yes. It's a more gentle yes
Hmm.
or no. But if you stop and let yourself kind of breathe for a minute, you'll hear that yes or no as well, or you'll feel that yes or no as well on top of the immediate sacral.
Yeah, I feel like the emotional yes is more peaceful or subtle, or it's less attached. It's less
Yeah,
attached to the outcome than the sacral response.
yeah, exactly.
One of the best things that I have ever done in my business, I think, and you can steal this if you're listening in, but for emotional authorities, because I is one. So I feel like those 24 hours or those like, you've got 4 hours, I'm like, now I just like click off the page. It's like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. Cause I've bought my fair share of like $2,000 courses that I've never opened and all the things.
Hmm.
So now in my own offers, what I do is I warm people up for a very long time. So before Content by Design launches, like probably a month or two ahead of time, I send out an email that says, if you're an emotional authority, this is for you. This is what's going to be happening in my world. You want to start thinking about it now. You want to start feeling your way through it now. And I find that people are kind of blown away by that. So if you are maybe you're in the human design space and you're listening to this, that is something that is definitely stealable because it makes your clients make better decisions. It helps your clients to make more aligned decisions, and then you don't have decision regret, refund requests, all that stuff. Yeah. So let's talk about your business. You
Okay.
serve women at midlife, and you have,
Yes.
for some reason, I cannot, I've heard the catchphrase, the tagline 100 times. I've said it 100 times, and now I can't think what it is. You have a little thing that you say about women at midlife and your people, that the stage they're at, live life on your own terms. And I love that
Yes.
saying. Love that. You must have had a journey. So your 6 line profile. So probably you have had a journey
Yes.
around this, coming to be able to live life on your own terms.
Yes. Very
Okay.
much
And
so.
then you turned it into a business. How?
Again, it started way back at the beginning of my coaching. Before I was even a coach, I was in direct
Mm,
sales, and I had built a team of women mostly who were balancing this small business at home, raising their family, just trying to make ends meet with something, they couldn't necessarily get a second job or
mhm,
whatever. And guiding this team of women is what turned into my
mm,
coaching ultimately. And it was helping them figure out how to do things in their
mm,
own way. Because, you're running this business, and we have, the higher ups in the business who are like, well,
yeah.
you've got to do so many sales and do all of these different things, and you've got to recruit so many people and do it all this way. But she's there with 4 young children and a husband who's working, or maybe she's a single mom, and she needs to do things
Mhm,
differently. And so we would work together and just look at her situation and say, okay, how can we build this business for you without disrupting your family, without turning your life upside
mhm,
down? And so eventually over time, I realized that I'm enjoying more and I'm doing more of this
mhm.
coaching than I am of the actual sales. Yeah, the sales was fun for a while, but I'm done
Yeah.
with that now. And so it shifted into coaching. And specifically, I started off working with women balancing their life and having to do it on their own terms because, you can't always just follow the
Mm-hmm.
rules. You want to build a business, you have to do X, Y, and Z. Well, I can do X and Z, but I can't do Y
Mm-hmm.
because this is what my life looks like. And so we were just building life on their terms. And as I was coaching other people to do that, I was building my own life in the same way. And that's where the first book came from. And it was like, okay, how do I do this so it works for
Mm-hmm.
me? How do I still enjoy life and still do the things that need to be done, but I'm not necessarily going to follow
Mm-hmm.
your plan, or society's plan, or, all the things that everybody expected me to do and expected all of us to
Mm-hmm.
do, that we were conditioned to do. We love
Mm-hmm.
that word. Um, and so that's kind of where the life on your terms, and it's funny, it was probably almost 20 years into coaching where until that term finally came up. It's like, oh yeah, life on your terms. That's what we're doing
Yeah.
here.
Sorry, Alvin. I had a question in my head and now it's gone. Da, 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 da. Okay. So one of my backgrounds, and I always say one because manifesting generator, as you know, but is holistic nutrition. And I remember when I had my holistic nutrition practice, women would come to me and they thought that they were coming to me for menopause or perimenopause or some hormonal issue or weight. Everyone was coming in for weight. And we actually discovered that they were missing meaning in their life. There was a lack of meaning, a lack of purpose in their life. And that was the big driver. Because again, it was women at midlife, younger midlife than I deal with now, but midlife. And then human design came into my world. And I was like, this is the thing. This is the thing. All of these other things I've done for my whole life, this is the one. When I finally got it, I was like, oh my God, this is the thing that helps women find their purpose. I started mixing it in with my nutrition, and then gradually the nutrition kind of fell off to the wayside because human design was so robust. Is that what it's become for you in your coaching as well?
It has. It's the
Mm-hmm.
primary tool that I use now, for working with women because, like you said, it's like everything else kind of built up into that. I also did holistic health and nutrition and lifestyle, and it once human design came into the equation, it was like this wraps everything together. This holds it all
Mm-hmm.
together.
Yeah. So I might get some of this wrong, so bear with me, please. But I know that in Design to Profit for a while, you were trying to work through I think you were trying to work through to have a group program because the whole world
Yes.
tells us that we have to have group programs and that that's the only way we're going to be able to scale. And then when we looked at your design, we're actually like, well, you're pretty tribal here. Like you do a really good job of holding your people one-on-one for long periods of time. And I think
Mhm.
that maybe was a little bit freeing for you. Can you speak to that?
Very much so. And in the program, and can't remember how many years I've been in your world now, but that was the one thing that just really kind of broke everything
Mm-hmm.
apart. It was, because for years I had worked in the coaching community and, I started off one-on-one and then it became, well, you need to do group programs and you need to teach and I kept trying to fit into that
Mm-hmm.
box because, like you said,
Yeah.
they said that's what we have to do. If you want to grow your business, if you want to be successful, you have to follow this
Mm-hmm.
pattern. And every time I tried to start a group program or some sort of group teaching anything, I would do all of the steps and it would
Mm-hmm.
fail. It wouldn't work. It is like, what am I doing wrong? What is it about
Mm-hmm.
me that's not attracting all these people? And when that came out about, you're one-on-one, you want to dive deep with, and I'm like, yes, that's what I do. I mean, most of my clients, I don't have a whole lot of clients. I have a few clients who come back repeatedly. And each time we'll go a little deeper or we'll go a different direction. And really, it's being able to connect on that, real intimate one-on-one that I think they get more out of. And I know that I certainly get a lot out of that.
And really, that's why we're building our businesses. Like, we need to have, like you would say, life on our own terms. We need to build our businesses on our own terms as well. So for listeners, the reason that I say this with Suzanne, and this is not human design information that you can take to the bank, it's just what I have seen through dealing with hundreds of women in my own experience of life, is that oftentimes tribal circuitry lends itself really well. It's called supportive circuitry in BG5, and it lends itself very well to one-on-one work and for long periods of time. It holds people for long periods of time. And Suzanne has the 59-6 channel, which is part of the defense circuit. And that defense circuit literally breaks down people's defenses. She's all about understanding who is right to bond with, intimately being with her own people, the people that are right for her, and having lasting bonds there, and creating something. Really, something is going to be born of you. 4 books, maybe so far. I mean, you're young. You could write 100 more books in the next 50 years. Yeah, who knows? So that was one of the places that I got that from in her design, because it just lends itself so beautifully. She has a 2145 as well, but lends itself so beautifully to this one-on-one supportive work for long periods of time. And not everyone can do that. I know I am not the person that you want to be attached to for a long period of time in a one-on-one situation. God bless my husband of 35 years or something. But for client work, I really do better in group or short, in really intensive sessions, and then we're done. So yeah, it's just, we all get to build our business our way, which is absolutely beautiful. Yeah. So my last guest,
and I have to say, if I can, interrupt here, the way you can hold a group, I am envious of that. It's like, okay, I've come to terms with, I'm not that group leader. That's not who I am. But I feel so at home, and I know, others in the program do as well, where you're able to hold us all and all of our energies and, kind of bounce around as needed to bring us all into where we need to be individually. So it's like we're in a group, but we're each getting what we need individually as well. And I love that about your programs.
Thank you for that reflection. My second line, needs to hear those things, because you know what it's like as a second line. So many times you go through life and you think you're like, God, I don't know why all these people are here for me. What are they doing? Yeah. So thank you for that. I keep hearing over and over and over again about the stability that I'm able to offer in a group, and the individual attention is so very important to me and I notice my own languaging. I'm all about conscious languaging these days. And I notice my own language when I've joined different programs is that I get lost in them. And I never want my people to feel lost in the group. Even we've had a few people on this series who only watch replays, and they've said, I don't feel like I'm being left behind, which I think is a really powerful thing in a group situation. Because I don't know if you've ever had that, where you've gotten into a program and it's like this massive thing and you just can't get your footing. And yeah, it's not fun. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. One of the many that I jumped into and didn't ride out my wave. And it's like, why am I here now?
Yeah. These people aren't right for me. Yeah. Okay, Alvin, you're going to have to bear with me again, because there was something. Oh, I know. Okay. All right. We're back. So my last interview was with Amanda Dacio, and she also is a triple split manifesting generator. And her mom is a triple split manifesting generator. And it's not a super common, well, triple split, for one thing, isn't super common, but a triple split manifesting generator is less common than some other types. Can you speak to how you have learned to play in the energy of your triple split?
Oh.
Or have you? Maybe it's something that you're still kind of playing in.
It's still something so with the triple split, and I have in my life a lot of different pockets of groups of people. I have, the people in this area of my life and that area of my life, and where they're somewhat separated, and I kind of touch base with each of them and I jump in and out of them. And, as I understand the triple split, it's like that's, there's still this piece of me that wants to just be like have some sort of like a definition of this is me, these are my people. And it's like there's not, there's always going to be this group and that group and this, and I relate to each of them differently, and I'll jump in and out of each of those groups independently. I don't know, it's one of those things that just kind of plays in the background of my life. I try not to think about it too much because it's like, I know it's just, I don't know.
I find that something as well. So the triple split, I love that you said that about different groups of people, because that's something Amanda and I didn't talk about. If you have a triple split in your human design, it really is about moving through different groups of people. It's not ever about getting your splits defined. So bringing your energy together with one group of people or one person. Whereas a quadruple split, they are more about like, this is my person that bridges my splits, or, a few people that bridge their splits, but they have whereas with a triple split, you move through different auras. It's all about, what is it called? Aura washing your aura through different auras. But Suzanne, too, is a 6-line profile. And I know we've had these conversations in D2P, Suzanne, where I find 6-line profiles are incredible at being able to relate to different ages and groups of people. Like a 6-line profile has no business choosing an avatar with a specific age. Because yes, right now you gravitate to midlife women, but I bet you if someone in their 20s came to you and said, I'm really struggling with motherhood, I'm losing myself in my family, my husband's this, you would be able to help that person just as much as you can help the woman at midlife. Because all of us, like I've been a younger woman, but as a 6-line profile, it's different for you because you have those distinct life phases. This is my interpretation anyway, what I experience with clients. You have those 3 phases of life that are so definitive. These 3 different journeys that you've been on. So you can just go back and speak to that phase that you were at. And you're nodding your head, so must be onto something here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. I think that was another big thing that came out of my aha when I first found human design, was those 3 phases of life. And they were so very distinct for me. I used to think when I was younger, it's like, wow, it's like I've just finished like another chapter of my life. It's like each section was its own chapter, or each one was its own book. And, then learning about, oh, well, you have these 3 specific phases in your life. And I'm like, okay, well, that totally makes sense. And yeah, I do find it very easy to pop back to that, because I do have, not really so much in the middle, but I have, some younger women who come to me on a regular basis. And then I have the women who are more women of a certain age, in my own personal group. And just being able to pop myself right back into that situation does come very easily. It's like, because I do remember being there in that young motherhood and the different challenges and everything that happened during that time. And then to pop back to where I am now and the things that are going on in this phase, and being able to speak to that as well.
So
yeah, I hadn't really thought about that. So
another gift that you possess. Yeah. So what are you working on now now? I feel kind of like an ass for asking that, because some people would be like, well, she's writing a book, but I know you're probably doing more than writing a book. What else are you working on in your business?
I am writing the book. And it's funny, even outside of my business, one of my sons sent me a manuscript and said, hey, I just wrote my book. Can you read it for me? And I'm like, oh, okay, great. His is a lot more quantum physics stuff. So I've been reading each page like 4 times just to understand what he's saying. So there's kind of that, my book, his book, and my latest program is I think we've spoken about them, the chart spotlights. So it's kind of a mini recorded, video recorded human design reading that's just more focused and more, specialized if you have, one thing that you're working on or one thing that you're trying to work through in your life, whether it's relationship or finances or whatever, as an option to a full on, full-fledged, hey, let's get together and look at your whole chart kind of reading. So that's my newest.
And are you
for
still
now.
lit up with that? I know when you first developed it I think a few months it's been, you were like really crazy lit up.
I am. I'm just finding them to be, because again, I get to kind of go deep into one section with one person and one specific, let's look at what this is doing in your life and how we can, bring this more alive in your life and how you can use this information.
And how are people booking those? Like you have Substack and a podcast, which is through Substack, but do you have social media or how are people finding these?
They're also finding me through Instagram mostly. But I think most people are finding me through Substack, through the long form writing and the podcast.
Yeah. And how long have you been doing your podcast?
I brought it back about 3 years. I think it's been about 3 years now.
Yeah. It's a powerful tool. Podcasting. I absolutely love podcasting.
It really is. And I love having both there. Again, the manifesting generator. It's like if I feel moved to write this week versus if I feel moved to speak. And so they kind of alternate out there and live in the same space.
Not consistent?
I'm consistent on my terms.
Yay. Yes. That's what we're all about in my world. And I'm sure if you're listening here, you have heard me say that a time or 1,000, but yes, getting to be your own form of consistency. Yeah. I'll link up in the show notes as well. I did a little content audit for Suzanne. So Suzanne went through Content by Design. So when you have gone through Content by Design, you get like another level of Design to Profit. And I'm doing but I've disappeared from social media for a month. But I'm doing these little content audits and posting them to Instagram. So I'll put that in the show notes so that people can see the work that you're doing in these little mini audio readings. So what this really is you got a question that's keeping you up at night. You got something in your life that you're like coming up against that wall over and over and over again. You don't want to spend an hour with Suzanne right today. You just want an answer to this question. This is the thing that you need to go and grab in her world, because she will walk you through, like she said, in depth, exactly what's happening, and more than that, how you're going to move through it. Not just, oh, here you go. Because I think a lot of people are doing that in human design. Oh, checking the boxes. This is why this is happening. Okay, now I can go and have another label. But you're really about, no, let's use what we're learning so that you can change your life.
Yeah, exactly. The labels are great. They give you a reference, but you need to be able to use that information to change your life.
So when do you think you will publish this book? And I don't mean that in a pressure way, but how long are we waiting for this book?
Definitely within the next year. I was hoping to finish it by the end of this year, but life was lifing, and as it does, and so it's been delayed a little bit. But soon.
I feel like people have no idea until they start writing a book how much is involved, even if it just, and that's in air quotes, comes through you. You could never understand it until you start to write one. The absolute, and the editing process. I don't know if you find that, but for a manifesting generator to have to go back to something that you finished, oh my God.
Yeah.
Shoot me now.
Like, wait, I have to look at it again.
Exactly. I'm so done with this. Yeah. Oh, I know my book is.
I'm ready to start the next book. I don't want to look at this one anymore.
Mine's got 5 rounds of edits, and I'm like, I don't think I'll be standing by the 5th round. It's crazy to have to go back through that many times. So yeah, it's a daunting process. And to say that you've written 3 and published 3 and you're on your 4th, that's an incredible feat. Yeah, my hat's off to you on that.
Thank you.
So switching gears a little bit, Design to Profit. You went through Content by Design. You joined us in Design to Profit. You've renewed again for another year in Design to Profit. Why is that? What do you get out of it?
Something new every single time, every single call. Like you said, the content edits, which is great because I'll have an idea and I can put a whole bunch of ideas out there, but without an editor, without somebody kind of saying, okay, let's look back at your design. Let's see how these words can better attract your people. Sorry about that. Let's see how these words can attract your people specifically. That has been huge. And hearing what all the other participants are doing and what they're going through and how they're building their businesses, it's like, oh, I never thought about doing that. Or, that's a really great take on how you do that. I mean, it's just the whole package. And again, there's something different every time. Even if, you're, going over something with the same person 2 or 3 times, each time I'll pick up something out of that I can apply to the work I'm doing or the content that I'm writing or whatever it happens to be. There's always a new way to look at it. And Design to Profit has just, I was when I first went into it the first year, I was like, okay, great information, and I'll see what I get out of this. And my mind was blown by the end of that year. And it was, there's just so much information that we think that we don't think about. I'm just trying to build my business. How do I do that? And with, your business experience and your, copywriting experience and the human design experience and pulling all that together to show us, how if I word something, it might be great for this other person, but I need to word it so that it works for me and my people. And I never thought about that. And, of course, still making the same old, same mistakes over and over again, because that's what we do. And you're a great reminder.
Well, thank you. Thank you. My second line is loving all of this. I think it gives us something to respond to too, when we're like, this is a pretty tight group. Not tight that can't be infiltrated, but it's like not a group of hundreds of people where you're going to, not ever get time with me, or you're not going to get to know the other people. So for me anyway, as a manifesting generator in these groups, it gives me something to respond to as well. So when you're saying, other people are in the hot seat or other people are looking at their content or whatever, and I think, oh yeah, because we can be in these silos in our own businesses. We're inside the 4 walls of our home. And we're building our business, and we need sparks of something to light us up to do something different in our business.
Right. I mean, the community that you've built, and while we all, or at least most of us touch on human design in our businesses, not everybody does, but every business is different. And I think you put it perfectly, what I was like talking round and round about. It's something to respond to. So each time I'm hearing something a little bit different, and it's like, oh, and I'm in response to that, and, for something in my own business. Yeah. So just having that takeaway and having the small group of people to bounce ideas off of, or see how different businesses are growing, or collaborate with other people who are doing something a little different.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of collaboration in the group, actually. I hadn't thought about that, but yeah. And at the time of this recording today, our training is, which I better get a little snack before we start on that in a couple of hours, but it's SEO and how it's changing in the world of AI. So I'm super excited to deliver that training, because it's something that we really need to be thinking about with our copy now. We really need to be thinking about when doesn't matter if we're writing or speaking in our podcasts or whatever. It's like, how are we going to still be relevant with AI search taking over? So I'm excited for that.
And that's been huge also in Design to Profit, is that, you're not just teaching the same thing each go round. It's, there's an adaptation. I have no words today. A year and a half ago, we weren't talking about AI.
No.
But it's a big reality now, and you were able to just seamlessly bring that right in to help, bring that to us and bring that to the awareness of, hey, business is changing and we need to move along with it. And so again, thank you for that.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Because I think a lot of times if you were just in your office building your own business and doing your own thing, it maybe wouldn't occur, not just to you, but to any of us, it wouldn't occur to us to do something or to notice what's happening in the rest of the business space. And that's something like I don't know, I just eat it up, what's happening in the landscape of the business. And it's changing so fast right now.
Yes.
Yeah. I have to keep reminding myself, we chose to be here at this time. We chose to be here at this time. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I could talk to you all day, but I won't do that to you. Can you tell me where people can find you? So we'll put that in the show notes too.
Okay, people, mostly you can find me on Substack. That's my primary outlet for content. I post long form and the podcast, as we talked about, weekly. So there's always something out there. I am on Instagram. If that's easier to find me there, it will link you right back to Substack. Okay. So there's always that. And then, of course, my website is SuzanneArjona.com.
Okay. We'll link that up in the show notes. Do you have time for one more question? Which might lead to two questions? Because I realize that nobody has spoken to Substack, and it's something that a lot of people are curious about. You have been on Substack for quite some time with your body of work. I would say your body of work, which we should all be building a body of work. What do you love about Substack?
Oh, I love that the community, it's not just social media. It is, a space to hold my content where it can be referenced. It does have the social media aspect to it. There's the area of what they call notes, which is similar to X, where, you can just kind of post your random stuff every day and interact with people. You've got live chat, so you can build your community there. It doesn't have as strong of an AI algorithm as some of the other social media sites, the other platforms out there. And you can also kind of turn off the things you don't want to see. If you don't want to see certain things, whether it be politics or what have you, you can turn those creators off and they just won't show up in your feed. And so that's been something that I've really appreciated, because I'm able to connect with and see other writers and see other creators who have what I'm interested in. And whether it's similar to what I write or different, something to respond to. So I love that it's kind of an all-in-one platform, and it's very easy to manage. Don't get too high tech with me, because I'll just say, forget it, and I'll turn it off.
Same. So you're doing your podcast there, you're doing your blog there, and you're emailing through there, or no?
Well, the blog and the podcast automatically, I'm able to automatically email those to subscribers. So every week when they post, they will automatically go into the inboxes. My main emailing list, though, is housed on Kit.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that. I just didn't want to miss that opportunity, because nobody has spoken to Substack. And I know that a lot of people are curious about it because, well, a few reasons. We know that social media is changing. We're ready for it to change.
Yes.
And I love the part that you said about, like, you can turn off certain things so that it just seems like it would be kinder to your nervous system. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You can just, if something comes through your feed and it's just not what you're in the space to deal with at this time in your life, you can mute it.
Okay.
You can either mute an individual person or a topic, and just, I don't have space for that right now. Maybe I'll go back to it later.
Maybe never.
But
maybe never. Yeah. So I'll link up your Substack in the show notes as well, if that's okay with you. I'm not sure if you must have said that, because it sparked a response in me. And then last question is, someone's thinking of joining Design to Profit after listening to this series. Who is it for? It can't be everyone.
If you are building your business and either aren't growing as fast as you'd like to, or feel like maybe you're running into walls, your words aren't coming, or they're not your ideas aren't reaching your people the way you would like them to, Design to Profit is that place. Design to Profit is where, Vicky can look at your content and help you find the words that are going to help you find your people.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you. I love words. I don't know why, but I love words. Yeah.
Yes, you do. And we love that you love words.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate you being here. I won't hold you up with more questions. I couldn't leave that on the table when you said the word Substack. I was like, oh, we have to talk about that. So thank you for being here. And I will see you in a couple of hours on the SEO training.
Sounds wonderful. Thank you for having me again.
If you would love some support in your business, if you would love to be in the room for these monthly trainings and really understand how to build your business according to your human design so that you don't break your life, then I would love to invite you to step inside Design to Profit. Design to Profit is the community home that you have been craving. There's no competition here. Several of my guests have spoken to that, and that may seem ludicrous to you, but this really is a collaborative space. So many of the women in Design to Profit have gone on to collaborate on projects together outside of Design to Profit. If it's calling to you, I would love to have you in the room with us. I'm going to pop the link in the show notes along with all of Suzanne's links for you to check it out.